All right, got this part. Wanted to show y'all something about this gun. I'm doing this the second time because I forgot to hit the record on the first one. I feel like a dummy. All right, there is a world of hurt if you're going to try to clean a firing pin on a Taurus Spectrum, and I'm going to tell you why. If you look at this right here, this is the depress. You depress this, get your little screwdriver, push this down, and then you can pop this cap off. That'll come off. This is not your firing pin. I watched another video where the guy says, oh, I just took this out, this cleaned it, this is the firing pin. This is not the firing pin. This is actually a keeper pin to keep the spring in place for the firing pin. Don't know why they did that, but they did. In the back of this is a hook that goes back and down into the casing. So it comes across and down, and it locks in this spring. The spring goes into the firing pin, which sits right here. Now, once you've got this depressed, take the cap off, pull this pin out and this spring out. You can pull your firing pin out, but listen to me very carefully. You will have to depress this little door here. There's a little door with a spring that sits on the top of that. That when you slide it back, you need to slide this whole casing. Now listen, the whole casing right here is a split. I don't know if I'm going to get it focused enough to get that or not. But this split right here, this whole block is going to slide out. So that once you start sliding it back and that you get that spring, take the little door, set it down so you don't lose it. And then slide this casing out. And as you get to the top of the back here, the firing pin will release and you can slide it out. Now, once you start pulling this casing away from this separation right here, the spring here and here, you're going to have one this way, up and down, and you're going to have one that comes across left to right. The left to right is for the ejection, and the other one is for, I guess, receiving the pressure of the firing pin and letting it come back. It's kind of like a little recoil at the beginning of the firing pin. That spring holds the front of the firing pin. So you take the whole casing out, and then you can slide the firing pin out. Now, when I slid this firing pin out, there is a hole that is in this firing pin that has a little tiny 1 centimeter by probably about 2 centimeter bar. It's like a keeper bar or something that's in that firing pin. On a video that I watched, this guy that had this, supposedly had the gun apart and was taking it apart, I did not see him talk anything about that pin, but I found that pin by luck on a towel that I had laid across my lap when I was making sure that if something did pop out or fall out or something like that, I would see it. And I found it, put it back in. It sits flush to the firing pin. I don't know if it maybe comes back and catches something back here and then comes back up. But if that hole is not blocked by that pin, you're going to get a lot of buildup in that hole from firing it. So once you've slid it out, clean it, get everything, put your firing pin back in, then get the front casing and this spring. It's tricky because what you're doing is you're actually kind of doing 3 motions at once. You're getting this front spring to line back up. You've got to depress this spring in, and you've got to get the spring and this door back on after that firing pin is in there. So you slide your firing pin in, slide the casing in. You're going to get to this spring, depress it with the door already on there. The door, you put the door back on, put the little spring on the top, and then get it to here and slide that in. You're going to have very little room up here. Once that spring is in, it should be sitting about right here. So from here to here is about how much space you're going to have up here. So you're going to have about maybe this width right here, just to get a little screwdriver and line this front spring back up, and then take your screwdriver and turn it to this side spring and depress it back. And then once you get this one slid back, you can push that casing back in and it'll click. You'll hear it. It'll go click. And you'll know that it's in there because that's the spring lining back up to the little round hole on the side to help hold that spring in place for the ejector. But you'll push that in. Then once all that's back in, you can put this spring back into the firing pin, and then put this like a keeper bar or whatever back in, and press that down, and you got to line that little hook that comes across and down back into this little bracket in the back. And then I had to actually have my wife help me. I put a screwdriver on this side. Don't put it on this side. You can't put the screwdriver on this side and then slide it back in. So put the screwdriver back here by your sight. Hold that down so that you can slide this bracket back in. And once this front little lip edge right here is separated, let's see if I can get that to focus real quick. This little edge right here, once that edge catches the front edge of this top, or gets past that top, it'll hold it, and then you can just push it on in, and then it'll lock back in, and then everything's back in place. But very, 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 you better have some time on your hands. And if it's just you better really have some time on your hands to get all this back together. Because it took both me and my wife a good bit of time to get it. And then this spring, if you're not watching and you don't catch that lip good enough and go in there to do it, that spring will bend and it'll shoot off. We spent some time trying to find the spring, but we did find it. But everything's back together. Went and shot it. That's what I got with it today, shooting it. Didn't have any problems with it. I sped shot a little bit just to see how fast I could get some bullets out. That's what I got with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was one, just pop, pop, just shooting it off quick. This one bullet right here was a loose. I was aiming and shot off a round and hadn't brought the gun back up yet, and was just kind of loose gripped and fired, and it pulled down and it shot down here. That's the only reason why that's down there. But everything else was a point to shoot. I had no problems with it, no failures, no nothing like that, like we did yesterday with that guy. But anyway, just to let y'all know, if y'all plan on cleaning and getting that firing pin done, be prepared, because it's not pretty at all. All right? Y'all have a good day. Bye.